Well, I'm back to being a basic white girl. For those of you that are like, what are you talking about? In my last video, I was preparing for my oldest son's wedding and I got a spray tan and it was very dark and very orange. Now, I'm not upset about not being orange anymore, but that spray tan wore off quick. And now I'm just back to being white and pasty, maybe being able to live in the Victorian ages. And although people say, oh, it's so lovely to have porcelain white skin. Is it though? Why couldn't my parents have been from like Italy or somewhere that has like the Mediterranean olive skin, just like super delightful? But no, I'm Casper the Friendly Ghost. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. This video is about that I miss sleeping in my car, especially now that I've gotten a car as opposed to having my van, which I sold recently. And this has been coming up more and more for me lately. First off, try not to look at my hair because I haven't washed it in a couple days and I'm doing this like castor oil situation in my hair so it looks super greasy because there's oil in it. And my hair's been kind of thinning on the sides here for a while. I did try Pros, and they're like supplements, and then I tried Nutrafol. I think both of those work, and they worked pretty well, but I didn't want to keep taking pills, so I'm like, what are some other natural remedies? So I've been on the castor oil train. I don't know if it works or not, but what I do is I put some castor oil in my hands, and then I bought some rosemary essential oil, and then I mix it together in my hands, and then I just like scrub it through my hair. And that's why it looks so shiny right now, because I need to wash it. But I wanted to make this video first. So speaking of Italian skin, well, not the skin part, but Italy, my newly married son and his wife, they went on their honeymoon. Now, they had their wedding, and then a couple days later, they were leaving for their honeymoon. But the night before they left, they were like, oh, do you want to go have dinner? Because we're not going to see you for a couple weeks. I was like, sure. So we went to Chili's, and we were having a grand old time. Also, before we get too far ahead, look what my son gave me. I don't know if you could see that. He gave me this before his wedding. We had like a mother-son moment. I don't know. And he gave me a card, and it was like so touching. I was trying not to cry. That was a total failure. I cried so much at his wedding. So did he. So did everybody. We're all a bunch of big babies, but it was beautiful and wonderful. It was like the best wedding I've ever been to. But he gave me this. It's his birthstone and has like a little diamond on the top. And it was just so sweet. I just love it so much. Anyways, so we're at the Chili's, and we're having our chips and queso, burgers and chicken strips and wings and all the things. And they were like, oh, do you mind taking us to the airport tomorrow to go on our honeymoon? Which they're currently there now. They're on their honeymoon in France and Italy. So I was like, oh yeah, sure. What time do I need to pick you up? And they're like, well, and then I knew it was going to be bad. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And they're like, we need to leave at like 2 in the morning. Listen, I'm in my 50s. That's a hangover. That feels like a hangover. I'm tired. I'm too tired. They're like, no, we're just kidding. But we do need you to pick us up by... We are on the road to 100... What? We are on the road to 100K... Whoa, that's too close. We are on the road to 100K subscribers. We're getting very close. If you're not already subscribed, become part of the snack pack by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. And don't forget to throw a like on it. We do need you to pick us up by 4 a.m. I think the humor is lost on me because they're millennial, Gen Z, on the cusp. So 4 a.m. may not be like super early for them. Like I think sometimes these kids, they stay up till 4 playing games and doing all these things. To me, I'm like 4 a.m. bro, like that's super early. Although I am a morning person, but still 4 a.m. They were like, we've asked everybody else in the family, like everyone else has to work and I have to work too. But they know that I'm maybe a little more flexible with my start time at work. So I was like, yes, I'll help you. We finished our Chili's, and then I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go home and go straight to bed. It was like 9 o'clock. And this story's going somewhere, P.S. It's gonna get to the part about why I miss sleeping in my car. Then my alarm goes off at 3:30 in the morning to like get up and get ready. But I noticed that I didn't have very much gas in my car. All right, well, I need to go get gas first before I pick them up because the airport is like 45 minutes from where we live, the town we live in. I go to the gas station and I get out and it's like a crisp morning. When I opened the door and got out, it was like all those like little memories of living in my car and living in my van. And you're probably thinking like, why would you be getting gas in your car or van at 3:30 or 4 in the morning just when you were living on the road? Well, most of the time I wasn't getting up that early, but I would still be getting up pretty early because a lot of the times I'd be parking in hotel parking lots, Walmart parking lots, grocery stores, even neighborhoods, like places that, you know, you want to get in late and leave early. So I would be getting up pretty early. So I remember there'd be plenty of times where I would get up and get on the road. And like I might get out and stretch my legs, or I might have to go get gas, or I might go to the store or whatever. And being up that early in the morning, even if it's like 5 or 6 in the morning, it's just different. It hits differently because the world is a little more quiet, especially when it's not like 20 degrees freezing and it's not like 100 degrees hot. It's like that almost a little bit too cold, but not quite too cold. And you just get out in the world and it just feels so different than a normal lifestyle. And I remember that happened to me like quite a lot because there would also be travel days where I would be traveling and I would get somewhere late at night and then I'd want to get back on the road early in the morning. And I would just remember getting up and it'd be kind of chilly and just jump in the front seat, and then I might have to like throw away some trash or whatever, get out. And I miss that. I miss being like you're not already in your house. And that leads me to the second point. I don't really have anything written down, but the second part to that is that when I was sleeping in my car, sleeping in my van, sleeping on the road, it is hot in here. I don't want to roll the windows down because it's very windy. But when I was sleeping out on the road, living out on the road, I was out on the road. Like that's where I was living. So I was always out. Now, I believe in balance, and I think there's a lot of nomads that are like, nomad all the way, I'm never going back. And that's fine. Everyone has their own journey. But I think the best of both worlds is to maybe be a snowbird or live part-time on the road or travel often but still have a base to go back to. When I was on the road, I did have kind of a base, which was my parents' house, but it wasn't my house. It wasn't all my like things and, you know, the way my life is set up. So I was primarily just on the road, you know, full time. But I was out and about, and it would force me to be out in nature, be out in the world, be out a lot of times. A lot of times I would just be getting out, walking around through Dollar Tree, through Home Goods, through stores, through Walmarts, to like just seeing people, being around other people and being in different cities and communities and just all kinds of different places and different attractions and looking up things and driving by different roadside things and just always kind of pushing myself to see more and look at life from a different view. And by doing that, it also put me around different communities and different types of people. I don't mean like different types of people, but like, I don't know, when you go to different states and cities, people just have different like norms or different quirks or behaviors. And it's just very interesting to see. And I think a lot of times, especially because of the news and all the fear mongering, they talk about certain cities and states in such negative ways, and that really was not my experience. Pretty much traveling through the majority of the United States, even traveling internationally, most people are good, most people are awesome, most people are kind and loving and just wonderful. Now, there's a lot of terrible people in this world, and I think the people that are terrible are so terrible that it makes you think that most people are terrible. But that's really not the case from my experience. But now that I live in an apartment, I find myself like nestling in and being more like, oh, well, I'm already at home. And the apartment complex that I live in is like first come, first serve for parking. So if you come like into the complex after like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., too bad for you. You're going to be walking like from a far parking spot, which is not a big deal because I'm used to walking and I like walking and what but it's just the mentality. It's like, oh, I gotta park far away to get to my apartment. So it's like, I don't want to lose my parking spot. It's just dumb things that I think about or we think about that I've been challenging those thoughts. Is like, get out of the house. Like today, I was cleaning up and I'm working on some like YouTube content and I'm really like ramping to get ramped back up. Ramping to get ramped back up. That's not even a whole thing. But I'm ramping up to get my YouTube videos back going and to get back into the swing of things because I do miss talking to the snack pack. I do miss making content. And now that I'm not in my van, I'm really interested in talking about like nomadic lifestyle, but also to encourage you or people watching to take risks. Get out of your comfort zone. If there's a dream in your heart, do it. We're all about to die. Like, what? That sounded so negative. Bro, calm down. We are going to die. And the people like me that are 40 plus and older, it's creeping up faster and faster. Like, man, the older I get, the more I'm like, bro, I got a very limited time. I need to get it popping. I want to talk about the ways that you can live your best life. A lot of that does involve making more money or spending less money, but the most important thing is relationships and time, because our time is fleeting. It's going. That's why I don't ever wear, I will never, I don't want to say never, but I'll probably never wear a watch. I don't want to see my time ticking away. I don't have clocks in my house or on my wall. I never want to see my time slipping away. I'm saying all this to say that a lot of the content that I'm going to be doing is about like nomadic stuff, but also a lot of people watching have asked me, how do I get started on YouTube? Or like, I want to do something with my life. I want to get out of this job that I'm in and I want to retire someday and all these things. And one of my superpowers, one of my greatest strengths is ideation, analysis, research, organization, although sometimes I'm not that organized, but mentally I can see a bigger picture and I can help put things into smaller packages and blocks. That's not really what this video is about, but I'm just saying that I was sitting at home just getting all bogged down with work and, doing more, and I was like, you need to get out of the house. Like, just get out of the house, even for just a little while. And so I came to this Walmart parking lot, and it's so comforting to me. It's such a weird thing because it's like, I don't want to be dramatic because I think the world is very dramatic, but like, it feels like a trauma bond between me and parking lots. It's like the parking lots were there for me when I needed them most, for the most part. There was lots of times where I really couldn't find good parking to sleep, but it feels comforting to me. And that's another reason why I miss sleeping in my car or living on the road, is because I would wake up and I would, peek out my little window coverings and I would see, first of all, the stillness of just whatever. But then if I was in a parking lot like Walmart, I would see like the workers pushing baskets. I would see people, waiting to get in super early. I would see people walking around. And it's just interesting to be present for the lives of other people. It's a weird, interesting feeling. And even going to sleep in a parking lot or going to sleep in a neighborhood, like in your vehicle, it just feels different. Like you're tucking in for the night out in the world, out in the open. Like you're not in a tent in the middle of the forest. You're in your vehicle in society. There's something really freeing, really interesting. I don't know how to specifically put it into words, but it just feels less stressful, in some ways more stressful. But it's just like, oh, found this place to park. I'm gonna just take my blankie and just put my head down and just go to sleep. If you've made it this far in the video, type pink blankie in the comments, or pink blanket. That'll let me know that you guys are still with me. Oh, I was driving home and I forgot to mention that was one of the things that I was thinking about before I was gonna make this video. Is I was talking about my greasy hair, but that's another point, is like when I slept in my car, I was a little more rough. You don't get a shower every day. It's like you are living out in these streets, you know? So I felt a little more rugged and a little more not concerned with my looks as much. That could be good or bad depending on your perspective or opinion on that. But to me, I had less clothes, I had less ways to do my hair and makeup, I didn't have a shower every day, and if there was a shower nearby, it's like sometimes it was farther away and it was like more of a hassle. So I don't know, like it felt a little less complicated to just live and be. And sometimes I think about that, where it's like, does anybody really care if I have greasy hair? Like, why are we really all so worried about just being normal, being ourselves? Now, am I clean? Yes. Do I make sure that my privates are clean and my armpits shaved and clean and everything? Yes. Like, I'm not rolling around in the dirt here. So that's just a little side note, is that I've noticed that when you sleep in a car, live in a car, you're just trying to get your regular daily things taken care of, and finding places to park and finding food and all these things. So it's not like your beauty needs are at the forefront. A lot of times we get so wrapped up in our day-to-day that we forget that there's so much out there to look forward to. Little things, you know, just sitting in this parking lot, I'm noticing people are weird. It's kind of awesome, but like, I'm all the way in the furthest corner of the Walmart, and yet people will drive all the way over here to like look in here and see what I'm doing and kind of circle around. And this has happened to me a lot of times now. They could be doing nefarious things or looking for criminal activities, but I don't know, it's just interesting. And then for someone that's lived on the road, you just notice other people sitting in cars, living in cars, just being in their vehicle. I'm more aware of that a lot of times. I will look around and I'll be like, oh, that person's living in their car, or that person slept here last night. It's very interesting, and I think that's another perk of living on the road for so long, is that you develop that awareness and you notice more things because you have to, because safety. So I do miss sleeping in a car. Now, obviously I sold my first car that I was living in back in 2019, 2020. And then I had my van, which I also sold. And now I'm in this car, SUV. This back seat is roomy, bro. Like, I'm interested to see, you know, I don't know though, because it's this SUV back seat is similar in a way to my old Kia Optima, in that it's like, you know, the seat is like a little bucket and it goes up in the middle, like a little hump for like the middle seat person, like slightly, and then goes like down. So it's like, you know, nestles your butt cheeks. That's great for being comfy when you're on a long road trip sitting. But when you're sleeping, if you think about it, like your middle section, like your ribs would be in that hump so that your body would be like bent in the middle. That's not comfortable. I'm just making sure this is still on. It brings me back to, like, if I slept in here, would I get that dang backseat car air mattress, which caused me so much problem, so many problems. But towards the end of that car living journey, I did find a good brand, and I didn't have any leaks or holes, so I still have that somewhere. Or would I get like a piece of foam that I could roll up, or just put some extra blankets, because that air mattress took up a lot of space. So if I had to do that over again, I'd probably just put some blankets to even it out. Maybe like a thin foam thing that I could roll up and like do like a bungee, like a tie. I guess if I was doing a road trip or giving it another go with like more living in my vehicle for more time, I would probably fold down the whole thing. Put some blankets, make it even, maybe put like a foam thing, and then put all my stuff back there and then give myself like a little runway for me to sleep, because that gives you a lot of extra room. I do plan to do road trips in here, but I need to get it together. There's a lot of things that I would do differently, which that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. There's so much to do in the United States, and really encourage you to find those things to do. If you're sitting at home and you are, especially if you're like dipping more into a depression, get out, take walks, get out into the world, go live, go plan something, have something to look forward to. Because even now I get cabin fever at home because I work from home and I'm not out as much, and it just starts to wear on you. And I'm not retired. I wish I had all the extra money in the world to do that. But I could imagine that when you're retired, that can creep up on you to where you're just kind of like sitting on the couch all day watching reruns of old TV shows, or, you might, bop around doing stuff, but never really getting out, and just succumbing to like, oh, I'm getting older, I'm not, whatever. Don't do that. Life is passing us by. We got to get out and, enjoy and try to do it with people you love. Let's see something. I've tried this before. Let me see. Whoa. I brought my little Nana pillow that used to belong to my Nana who passed away. And even though it's hot, I want us to see like how different this is not that kind of show. I'm thinking that this SUV is less wide than my Kia Optima was. What? Because in my Kia Optima, I could lay like straight and just curve my feet around the seat. But this one, I don't know. Well, actually, okay, and that's the reason. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. That's the reason why I had that air mattress, because it went out, which I'll show you in a second. But, okay, yeah, I could see. If I have my head like right on a pillow, like right up to this. Yeah, okay. It's all coming back to me now. Let's see. I don't know if you can even hear me because my mic's all the way over there. Let's see. So, if I have something, to rest my feet on so it's not just falling over, then so my feet aren't dipping down, then I can fit. Now, is it the most comfortable ever? No. But the other thing is that this particular model, these seats recline. So, where is it? Hold, please. It like leans back. So, even in that, I could nestle into that corner with my Nana pillow. Well, now I'm hot and sweaty and I need a nice coffee. Until next time, bye for now. Snack time.